Try to solve this question. So in this question it's been asked that state which has higher number of atoms, whether 1 gram of oxygen or 1 gram of chlorine. Okay, and the gram atomic masses of the chlorine and oxygen are given, which is 16 and 35.5. Okay, so basically in this question we have to calculate the number of atoms, okay, which is the third formula, and the mass is given, which is the first formula. Okay, gram atomic mass, gram molecular masses we can calculate from the gram atomic masses. Okay, but in this question the one thing which we need to understand is we cannot directly put 1 gram mass, 32 gram of oxygen divided by number of atoms and divided by Avogadro number. We cannot do that directly, because it's the 1 gram of oxygen is given and not the 1 gram of O. Okay, 1 gram of oxygen atom is not given, molecule is given. So 1 oxygen molecule is equals to 2 oxygen atoms. 1 chlorine molecule is equals to 2 chlorine atoms. So what we can do, we can calculate the number of molecules of oxygen, we can calculate the number of molecules of chlorine, and then we can multiply that number by 2 and we get the number of atoms. Again, understand once again that if we calculate the number of molecules, then after just we have to multiply that number by 2 and we'll get the number of atoms. Okay, because one molecule is equals to 2 atoms. Over here for this particular question, 1 O2 is equals to 2O, 1 Cl2 is equals to 2 Cl. I hope you understand till this point. Now let's see what are the further next steps. Okay, so now let's do for the O2. So for O2, what are we going to do? We're going to use the first and the third formula. We are going to equate first and third formula in order to calculate the number of molecules. Once we get the number of molecules, we're going to multiply that number by 2 and we'll get the number of atoms of the oxygen. Understood? Let's try. Mass 1 gram. What is the gram molecular weight of O2? So first of all, how do we get the O2? We get O2, O plus O, which is 16 plus 16, which is equal to 32 gram per mole. Okay, so 32 over here. Number of molecules of O2 divided by Avogadro number, which is 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. Okay, therefore number of molecules is equals to 1 by 32 into 6.023 into 10 raised to 23 molecules. Now what did I say? That when we get the number of molecule, we have to multiply that number by 2 and we'll get the number of atoms. Okay, therefore number of atoms of oxygen is equals to 2 into 1 by 32 into 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. As I mentioned, always leave the Avogadro number aside and solve this fraction. Okay, so it's gonna be 1 by 16 and 1 by 16 is equal to 0.0625 into 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. So 0.0625 into Avogadro number is the number of atoms of the oxygen. Now let's go for the Cl. So for Cl2, okay, for Cl2 again the mass is same, 1 gram, divided by gram molecular weight. So first of all, how do we get the Cl2? We get Cl plus Cl, we get the Cl2, which is 35.5 plus 35.5, we get the 71. Okay, so 1 gram divided by gram molecular weight is 71. Number of molecules of Cl2 divided by Avogadro number 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. Okay, so we get the number of molecules is equal to 1 by 71 into 6.023 into 10 raised to 23, which is nothing but the Avogadro number. Now as I mentioned, one molecule is giving you 2 atoms. Therefore whatever the number of molecules you get, you have to just multiply that number by 2 and you will get the number of atoms of chlorine. Okay, so number of atoms of chlorine is equals to 2 into 1 by 71 into 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. As I mentioned, always leave the Avogadro number aside and try to solve this fraction. Okay, and when you solve this fraction, you get the answer 0.0281 into 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. Okay, now 6.023 into 10 raised to 23 is same in both the answers. Okay, so we have to judge the answer from this answer, this particular part of the answer. Okay, so as we can see, 0.0625 and 0.0281, which is bigger? So definitely the 0.0625 is greater than the 0.081, 0.0281. Therefore the oxygen has more number of atoms than the chlorine. Okay, oxygen has more number of atoms than the chlorine.